Steve and Joe, Elena. Welcome to 8th grade mathematics class. I do secondary. I'm doing high school and she's doing middle school, so we decided to try to find a equal grade in between. Try to do this for this lesson. Quick. See, topic, solving linear one variable equations. Grades, 8th grade, like I said. It's a mystery lesson, so strategy. You can't see it back there. And we're using teaming. Alright, so a little prior, like a step back. Last class we would have gone over algebraic properties, which are like subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, distributive properties. Does anyone know these?
Yes.
Yes, right?
No.
Alright. So that's what we did last class. So last class was like the learning of it. This class, this lesson is going to be the application and like the practice of it. That's how we gauge this lesson. Especially being that we only have like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So, alright, welcome to class, everybody. Remember what we were doing last class, right? Solving equations with algebraic properties. Does everyone remember? I'm a big fan of the thumbs up, thumbs down too. So you can nod your head, thumbs up, anything, let me know you're with me. All right, awesome. So today we're gonna practice those, but we're gonna do something fun. You guys are probably looking around like, whoa, what's all these boxes, the countries and stuff. But today we're going to be a team of archaeologists. We're gonna be up in pairs. We put you in pairs. You're gonna be working on a task. And you're going to be solving for a dinosaur's name.
We have to work in this, but I don't think I can do that. I just work on myself.
Alright, I'm going to pass around a piece of paper. It's going to be a country. It's going to be a location. Keep track of this, and you're going to pair up with who has the same location. Yep. Do that. Here you are. So you get one. Here you are. This page down, we get two more back here. Alright, so to set the scene, we're gonna be a team of, like I said, archaeologists. We're gonna be searching for bones. So the thing is, you'll be given a guide. This is your guide. This is the country you'll be searching. You're going to be given a given location. Your locations are around the room. So you give me your location of your partner, you go over, and you're going to start your search. You're going to dig through the bones, and you're going to find equations that are written in color coded. So let's say you pull out a green equation. Or for example, find a bone. On the back is black writing. In your handbook, it's the corresponding one. You're going to see pages that have all letters. That have all colors. You have a green dot on the top right. You have a gray dot. You're going to find the page that matches the color on the back of the bone. So I have black. What page am I going to find? Black. Good. So I'm going to locate the black dot. Just so happens this is a different country's book, so there's no black in here. So for instance, get the black. Now we're going to put the black. We're going to take the equation. We're going to write it on the black page. Pretend that's black. You're going to write it on the black page. You're going to solve the equation. The equation yields what? What do we call that when you have an equation that has a value? What's that value called? X is, but variable is the X, but what is that X? What is the value behind it? John? Solution. All right. So when you achieve your solution, which is a number value, you take that number value. Let's say you're on your black page now, right? Take your black number value, you go to the back of the book. There's a picture of a dinosaur with all dashes. Alright? You take that black value and you write it on the black line.
So the black equation goes on the page with the black dot, and you write it on the black dash. You might have more than one black dash. That just means that there's more than one of those letters. So for example, if I had an equation and the answer was 6, on my number key, 6 corresponds to F. So in the back of the book, on the black dash, you would write F for that letter. And you're going to keep doing that until you have one word, which is the name of the dinosaur that you're digging for.
So your thing you're trying to solve for is what dinosaur you have. Alright? So everyone was given a country, everyone was given a location. Yes, everyone has it in their hands, hold it up high so I can see it. So everyone has one.
Okay, now really quickly, just repeat to your partner what the directions are.
Grab a partner and repeat what we just said. Directions. Paraphrase. Found your partner. Perfect. Let's be partners.
Well, we put that more information out as what you do have to do. USA, you're USA, yeah?
Alright, does everyone know we're good? Find your partner with the same location. Or go to the box if you see it. Find your box.
What about South Africa?
South Africa. Guys, what I'm handing out now is your log. It's your journal. This is where all your information is going. Where you're writing your equation, you're solving for your dinosaurs, Antarctica. Here you are. Mongolia.
Can we write on the things?
Let's go.
Yes, you can write the book. You can repeat, guys. You can write the equations. You guys can write the equations in the book, so you don't get lost. You're solving. You're solving for a solution. That solution is correlated to the letter. Guys, what I'm passing out now is your key. Every number you get is correlated with a letter. Look on the key to see what letter corresponds. Guys, here's your key. Okay? So if you get a solution, you're going to look at your key and you're going to get a letter for it. Guys, here's your key, all right? Every number.
Don't worry about me.
14 is N.
Everyone has a key. You guys have a key?
What's up?
Someone's camera shy.
Then you're right. Then you're right. Okay. I got my So on the green line, and it was 9. So was it 9 or was it? We're gonna do.
The other one that we did was.
They're beautiful.
What is it? Alright. You can do this one.
You guys having trouble?
Anyone? I got it. I can check 21.
Guys, make sure we're taking equal parts. Make sure we're taking equal rights in writing the equations. I don't want to see one person writing all 10. What's the first step? Oh, you did 40 plus 60. Now what? Alright, and then what would you do from there? So bring it down, and what property would that have? Yeah, but what property? What did you do?
Oh, you're right.
Divided by?
And so that was the orange.
So pink is So. Yep. So, -2 times multiply by that. That's what you said, right?
Oh, no. No. Yeah, it's like.
And what do you do? What do you do with that 21? What's 52 divided by the next one?
Either you subtract 21
13.
from the side.
You got it.
Negative, multiply it, and negative 42.
I wonder which one. Or they both funny. Oh, and. I think they're both funny.
Joe, you ready for your close up? Don't laugh.
Hey, Mr. Joe. Yes. Good question, John. Guys, John just asked me if we have green and green. We have 2 dashes that are green.
That means
Do we put the same letter? Good, Taylor. It's the same letter. Chances are you're using the letter over again. So if you see 2 green marks and you have an M for green, put 2 M's. Good question, John.
I think that's right. 2 cubes. Alright, let's do the silver.
2 cubed.
Right? This is a bunch
Order of operations, right? Pendas, remember pendas? Guys, don't forget pendas. If you have to write it down, what we did last class. Pendas, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally also, yes. Good. I'm not an acronym guy. I just never remember them. It took me more effort to remember them. So whatever works for you.
and then I would combine these both.
So there's nothing, so what's the first year?
So there's nothing we can do there, right? So then, okay.
So multiplication, what's that negative imply?
Think about your distributed property. What are you going to do with that negative to both of those? Okay. So why don't we try that? Try distributing that negative to the x on the 4 and see if we can do anything with that. Mm-hmm. Good.
Smile for the camera.
Yeah, one of the distributed property, good.
One, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. One, yellow.
So when you have a negative and positive, you have it. I have a question. Very good. When you square it, usually what I want to do is put 4 on the top. All right.
Oh, so that's how you do it.
That's, you're finished. What do you have? So now that you're done, what I want you to do is take that.
Yeah, we're really smart. Oh, teamwork.
Reasons that allow you to do that. This is getting done. This is getting done. A couple of them are finishing early. Have them do the property.
I think there were 2 couples in here, but you only had one. You already did it. Are we spelling a word?
I got the key. Hold on. I got the key. Let me look 1 second. I always Oh, I thought you meant that three. Oh, that answer. Where did it go?
So that like somebody was looking at it, had no idea why.
Where's the other guy?
I don't know. Where did we put back the box? Oh no, it's over there.
Sure?
How did
Sure
we
you had
get
two
it?
purple?
Purple, yeah.
Where'd you find that one?
Oh.
That's black. Black. Wrong color. Right? Black's go black. Go black.
Yes.
Alright, awesome. No, you don't want There it is.
Bad choice in cameraman.
Where'd you get our dinosaur too? It's not a Munchosaurus.
You're almost getting the dinosaurs.
You say that was a Munchosaurus.
Do I have any groups that have
That's a good
finished
one.
early besides you guys? Any groups that are finished early?
I want to hear vocabulary, words of operation, multiplicative inversion.
Hey, don't use that word.
Guys, I have a question.
You guys done? Good for you. Really? What happened on that quiz in the other group then?
Oh, okay, you're right.
So the percentage of that would be bad. Bad.
Way easier, right? Get the fraction out of it. Right? Get it out of it. I don't like fractions. Get it out of there.
No. Baymenchosaurus. It's gotta be.
Yeah, the Munchosaurus.
So you're right.
I know the dinosaurs. No, I'm being dead serious.
Save yourself some work. You guys done? Alright. Amateursaurus. Alright, yes. So now what you want to do is we're going to go back to our booklet and you're going to write in reasons. Do you know what reasons are? Yes. We're going to go back to our properties. We will addition, subtraction, multiplication. So we went over it last class. John's going to refresh your memory, right? Refresh your partner's memory on the properties we have. Yes. And those are the reasons why we can go from one step to the other. Okay? So finish traction.
Let's see the dinosaur. Nice.
We're in a list. That's the reason why we're able to go from one step to the other. For instance, this first one is skinnier. What did we do skinnier now?
The real reason.
This one's skinnier than the other?
I think it's not. To get from that to that on tape.
Order operations.
Order of operations, right? So for 3x and 2x, when you combine something, what's that called? Combine like terms, right? Because the x's are like.
Yeah.
So you're combining like terms. Okay, so next to that you write CLT, combine like terms. 'Cause that's your reason for going to the next thing. Okay? How do you get the two out of one? You're dividing already, so how would you get that out of it?
But then how do you get the extra that goes?
Okay, is there a way to eliminate that too? If you do something for this side and also for that side, does something eliminate that too? Focus line, right? If you multiply this side by 2 and that side by 2, so 2's will cancel. Right? Because 2 over 2 is what?
How long are we here? Does it say?
You got it?
20 minutes.
Hey Joe, can I ask you a question? Oh, Mr. Juice, I guess.
Excuse me?
Really? They call it the division?
Yeah.
I know. That was having an argument with that. Oh, it hurts to write that.
Get all my reasons?
I think it would be a great idea if you guys float it and help
Go make some dinosaurs.
Alright. If anyone needs help,
That cracks me up. Having fun?
Are you having fun?
I'm having a great time. I just like getting close-ups is all.
Dude, subtraction problem. So what do we do the next one? 2x equals 28. Cool. Alright, so let's go through the problem.
Write those numbers all down and you add them up. We solved it.
Hey! Awesome.
what did
Dinosaurs.
you guys get? What was your dinosaur?
Pentosauruses?
A mind your business-osaurus.
Pentosauruses.
Let me get your dinosaur. Let's see if I can get everybody's dinosaurs. There you go.
No, you're good. I'm just watching. Watching the process. Fine.
And filming. People hate cameras, it's great. I was like, people hate cameras, it's great.
Alright guys, at this time I'm going to ask you to... At this time I'm going to ask everybody to please return to your seats.
Bring the chairs if you need to. Bring the chairs.
It's okay if you want us to
Yeah, take them up.
Next to our partner.
next to our partner. Will you stay with our partner?
You can sit.
Due to timing issues, right now we would sort of just go around the room and ask everybody for the name of their dinosaur and to share maybe the difficulties that they had. And that could be either like difficulties with the task itself, difficulty with directions, or difficulty with a problem that was on one of the bones.
It could be a specific step even. It could be just anything you and your partner found that would be troublesome.
And then as closure, we're going to look at this equation on the board.
Everyone, can you get a piece of paper out, please?
And yeah, can everybody see it? I can write it. If you want to do it.
Can everybody see that or no? Yep.
You're okay with it? No.
Okay.
Is that a 12 after the
This
Yes,
is
that is a
4x minus 3, the quantity times 12, plus the quantity 27 divided by 3, equals 46x plus 4. And then before you leave today, you're going to solve that equation and then provide for us reasons on the side, properties, why you can perform each step.
that is to be handed in before you leave. Exit slip.
So in order to leave, you must hand it to us.
Uh-oh, nobody wants to study school.
Yeah, guys, use your calculators. You're allowed to use your phones as calculators if you want. Just no funny business on your phones.
Oh.
Gucci, you're handing it in. To be handed in.
Okay, so we did it, so that's.
That would be the quote.
Yeah, thanks so much.
So we proceed.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We
Would
just
you be, would you be okay if we didn't bring this to completion, but rather went into our comments? Would that be all right with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a round of Good job. All righty, can we please have some comments for, I see some people are still working on it, they're like attached to this.
It's a puzzle. See, you want to solve. 30 over 2 or 15.5. You're right.
What was that?
Yeah, 31 halves. I'm sorry, 31 over 2.
I would have gone there anyway.
Oh, interesting. Isn't that interesting? They wanted to continue. Interesting, isn't it?
Did our job, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, what?
So did our job, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's have some comments for Joe and Elena, please.
When everybody finished the thing and went around, and when you guys had us doing the properties, that was really important. I really like the way that you did that, because a lot of times they don't know the properties, and it's so important in the grades that you're doing. In that grade, they don't have a basis for that. That was so important. It was so good that you reiterated that.
Thank you, John. Like, to take a step back, I know it's hard because like it's math and not everybody's up to date on solving for X. Like we know. I mean, we're all seniors, we're doing our own thing. So I guess it was kind of hard to like, if we actually had a lesson to teach you guys that property, you would have been like way more into it. It was kind of hard to pick up right at the application level. I feel.
Yeah.
It was like everyone felt it rough. It was a rough beginning. Like everybody felt it. So I feel like it was because we like jumped right into the application phase. You know what I mean? They didn't have that actual lesson to build on before.
Well, you would have needed twice the amount of time. to
Yeah, well,
build
that too. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you set it up.
More discussion.
so
You guys were troopers.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's actually yourself.
Let's hear more comments, please.
Elena came over to my group, and we had finished our task, and I was talking about Go Math, and she kind of instructed us that since we were finished, we should go over and start helping other students and see if anyone else was having problems or stuff like that. So it was really good to kind of keep us on task and to get us to help our peers.
I thought it was a good use of chemistry, this idea. It was like, since it was like math related and also kind of like social studies too, which was interdisciplinary, so that was awesome. Good job.
I like also how, because we had to figure it out almost like it was a puzzle, it wasn't just like math problems on a worksheet where kids would get bored and they'll just stop doing it. It kind of motivates you to want to figure out what your dinosaurs are. So I thought that was good.
Could have just gave you a worksheet.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, like I've seen kids with worksheets and they're like riddles that they have to solve, but if they know the answer to the riddle, then they sort of just like fill it out and then say, oh yeah, I did the math in my head. And you're like, no. So like with the dinosaurs, you sort of can't guess unless you know them all, which is so crazy. That's awesome.
You knew?
Just the one we have.
That's why you asked if you know the dinosaurs. You just felt.
Because dinosaurs are cool.
Yeah.
So I really like dinosaurs, and there's so many elements in it just to be able to reach in and pick it out. You know, we didn't know what it was at first, and that there's actually bones on it. There's so many elements that you can put in this lesson that I think is unbelievable. I mean, you can say, okay, now we're going to do some fossils, and then you can go and they can even share the dinosaurs that they have, and then go into that. I like it a lot.
So use it as a setup for any type of.
That's what, yeah, you can use this as like a
Yeah.
step for, and you can go in any direction
Yep.
with it.
Yeah, good.
I liked how you had us in teams, so it's kind of like I had a partner to help me, and then with your exit ticket, you were able to check on everyone else separately. So I liked
That's also, I mean, we'll get into it more, but it's part of our modifications. Vanessa was our student with generalized anxiety disorder. We'll get into that later. I was just going to explain a little bit about that, but we'll wait.
And I John and Daniela and Darren and Taylor. I think you all had such good points. And what it was at the very end though, when you wanted to continue with the problem, that's the impact of mystery. That you had them sort of in that mode of inquiring and discovering and proceeding on their own, and it followed through to the next thing that you suggested. That was a very interesting outcome, very unexpected. I think you provided a good setup for the lesson. You explained what was coming after. I think you really did need full time, but you allowed us to know what you would have done at the beginning, at the end to help us out. Started with that today statement. I like the way you had the countries. Well, for me, the countries were very intriguing because I noticed that you also had unusual countries that we don't usually talk
Well,
about.
and also too, I want to just make a note that the dinosaurs that you found in your box are true. Like those are
Truly
fossils
from
that
that
were found
country.
in that
Oh,
country.
true, that's
They're true to that country. So.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's great. That's great. And the dinosaurs were really quite unusual. They were great. Yeah. And I like the guides. You know, everyone, you could use the guides, as Daniela had said, the template for the setup with the boxes. You could use the guides as a template also. And I like the way that they met their partner at the locations and that they had the equation set up. You had the answer key set up. And someone mentioned when Joe, who was it that said something? Oh, John. You reminded us that Joe intervened. And that's something that in cooperative learning of any sort, intervening is extremely important because you're able to tell what the temperature, so to speak, of the group is with regard to the activity. And intermittently you stop and intervene and set things straight if there's anything that's needed. So in this case, it was the use of the green and the green lines. The letter could be used more than once. And then the other was the PEMDAS, or pardon, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And I also would second also that you were both circulating. I noticed, Elaine, you were helping a lot of people as you went around, so you were both doing that. That was very important. And I just thought it was a really good lesson. And I also thought that it went beyond just doing your math equations. It was like, let's have a good time while we're doing it and really get somewhat inspired and motivated by it. And you did that. You achieved your goal. Good. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay. You ready for the PowerPoint?
Yes. We're up for constructive
Yeah, and
criticism
actually,
too.
like,
Oh
we
my
love
God, I
it.
forgot about the
And-
constructive criticism.
Probably gonna have
All right,
one of those
anybody
error.
are you
Yeah.
saying yes
Yeah.
for constructive?
I know one I'm gonna answer for
Yeah.
you.
Oh, okay.
There was
You
one.
want the
There was
one.
one error to an equation we found. That's a stupid error. It shouldn't happen.
Okay.
Take it as a lesson from us. Go to work again.
Okay,
3
you
times.
made us feel really smart when we found out that it wasn't us.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole point. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. We're wrong. You're right. You corrected
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
That'll get them
We're
going.
just keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other, any
The only thing
comments?
I would say is my same issue in my 90 hours is more clear directions, so you don't have to change the directions over to clarify that. Just one set of directions.
They were so hard. It was hard not to be wordy and
Yeah.
convoluted when you're trying to with the green and the green and then you know what I
On
mean.
paper, it was
Yeah.
so wordy.
I think
Like
my suggestion for that would be, and this, Joe and Elena really felt they didn't need technology on this one. And they didn't, but technology would have helped in doing a sample, showing the book, showing the lines, showing the PEMDAS. You could have done an instruction PowerPoint to begin, and that might have been helpful for those people that are more visually oriented. That would be my only suggestion. Okay?
Thank
Good
you.
job. All right. Did we give them a final round of applause?
Yeah.
Ah, we did it. All right, let's see the PowerPoint.
You can save them if you want. You can do it if you want to save the dinosaurs. If anyone wants to save them for the lesson,
Go ahead, you run.
feel free. One of the boxes too. I work in a bar, so yeah, plenty of boxes. Don't worry. That's why they're wrapped.
Oh, they're all beer boxes. Any gifts down there?
No, beer's out of there. Alright. Well, like we said, we did a generalized anxiety disorder. And this was our candidate So what is GAD? It's basically where a person experiences like chronic worry, and it's mostly like for everyday things, like things you wouldn't expect. Not like, oh God, I'm gonna be successful in life, or like those are huge things. Like people who suffer from GAD, like worry about little things, like, oh my God, what if I answer this question and I'm wrong? Or, oh my God, like, where's my toothbrush this morning? Or it's just anything.
One of the students in my 90 hours has
Yeah,
GAD.
I have 3 myself.
He's
That's how we picked it,
7th
so.
grade, and just to like put it into perspective for you, how it's just everyday things that can just turn into this really big thing. It was the day before Halloween, and the teacher had a wig that all the kids were super interested in. And this young gentleman really wanted the wig, and he just couldn't let it go. And he's like, Mr. Bart, I need that wig, and like he just couldn't let it go. Yeah, so it's not necessarily even like I need to get a really good grade on this test. It could be any variety of situations that just turn into something like that they're just super hyper aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So some signs and symptoms: you can't get rid of their concerns. You can't relax. You're always tense. You're easily agitated or startled. And then it goes beyond even like the mental. There's actually physical symptoms of anxiety too, like fatigue, headaches, muscle tension and aches, feeling like the weight of the world is on your chest, like you can't breathe, shortness of breath. They say going to the bathroom a lot is even is a physical symptom of it. So I think this should work, right? Oh, I'm sorry, that's like terrible to see.
Shut the light a bit.
It's pink. It should show up good, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Is that better?
I'll read it for you guys. Or Julian, do you want to?
Yeah, generalized anxiety disorders affect about 3.1% of American adults aged 18 and older, about 18%. And it's mostly in secondary or college levels, but like I said, like I'm in 7th grade, and I have actually more than one student with generalized anxiety disorder.
And the reason it shows later in life too is because when you're young, you're young and you're always worrying about things, and kids are silly. So it's when you get older that they say that the symptoms really start to come out, and that's when they tend to find it. Is when you're in. It's unfortunate they find it later in life because, like I said, it is there earlier. It's just like they don't recognize it or they don't classify kids that early.
Well, and two, I just feel like it comes out more in the secondary levels because, like you just said, in like middle school and stuff like that, kids can be silly and they don't really realize when that kid's sort of like all over the place. Well, everybody's sort of a little all over the place, and people don't really pick up on it.
Yeah, and it can be a lot of factors at home, but we'll talk about it in 1 second. So it's actually like kind of like the day in the life of a student with GAD. We actually spoke to, I know somebody who has GAD, so I got like a very personal encounter, and it seems to like go way beyond just worrying about everyday tasks. Like it could formulate from having a bad childhood or just one bad experience in your life can trigger it. So it's like, it's a really unfortunate disease to have. I'm gonna call it like a disease because I feel like you have it and like, you know, to me it seems like a disease because you can't get rid of it. You can't stop the chronic worrying. So like I asked this person in an interview what it's like to wake up on the day that you have school and have something to do and you have just something to do that day, whether it's like fun or not, or waking up on a day completely off. And that person said that it is like night and day. You wake up in the morning if you have something to do, and it's just you're constantly worrying, not even up until that point, and then it goes past that point. You might do what you have to do, and then you're constantly still worried about past or even future repercussions of what you just did. So that chronic worry is really what you need to like emphasize here.
As far as modifications for students with GAD, Vanessa was our student with GAD, and well, I mean, we got into it more, but the triggers is what's really important, and it's sort of just what you try to avoid is those triggers that provoke feelings of anxiety. In this case, Vanessa.
We had you be uncomfortable in large groups because that's kind of a side effect, right?
And also facing situations where they don't know what is expected of them. So in the beginning, it was sort of behind the scenes, but I walked over there and I gave her an agenda for the day so that she could see
this is what I'm gonna do, and in this order, and this is what's gonna be expected of me.
Yeah.
When Joe mentioned that we were gonna break off into pairs, that was a small trigger for her, because she didn't know who she was gonna be working with. And so when I went over there, I said, well, maybe if Mr. Tracy and I agree, you can choose who you wanna work with, and she chose Laura, and we said that's perfectly all
She
right.
looked at me and I gave her a nod. So there was like behind the scenes agreements. So it's like it's like preferential seating, but it's preferential like
Grouping,
grouping.
pairing.
It's the same concept. You either let them choose and with your discretion, or you pair them preferentially with who you think would be the best candidate to pair with them. So
Does this work here?
well, we just went over examples what we did with Vanessa. And we did accommodations like graphical organizers you can do. Like I guess the key was also helpful because you prefer to do it, and I mean, granted, whatever disability or special need you have, visuals always help. I believe. So I think that might be it. Oh, I do. I'm sorry. Just want to go back to things you can do.
What can you do to notice or help?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my bad.
No, it's okay. I think it's just like 5. Yeah, so like what you can do to help.
Where is it? What's that?
Yeah. I'm so bad.
Okay. Wait, this wasn't it. Sorry.
There you go. So it's what you can do, notice help. Split to 3 separate things: teachers, peers, and parents, because everybody on every level can help. So.
Just a really big key also is this one right here says don't be dismissive. Just really recognize and let them know that you're listening to them, and don't try and dismiss any sort of feelings that they're having, because it makes them feel like it just sort of heightens it. It's like if you're really sad or worried about, and like I feel like anybody can relate to this. If you're sad about something, it says that's nothing to worry about, and then you're like, well, first of all, what's wrong with me? Second of all, I'm still worried, and you think that I have no reason to be.
And with GAD, there's a lot of metacognition. They're in their own head, constantly thinking, questioning. That's like a huge part of it too.
For peers, just be understanding, befriend them, avoid putting them in as the center of attention. But I feel like that's also part of just creating like classrooms that support that kind of thing for all learners. So just create a really supportive environment, and where students feel like they can work with each other and support each other.
Yeah, as a teacher, you foster that environment.
Right.
Yeah. And parents, talk to the teacher, principal, like counselor at the school, see what can be done. See if they can get classified, if they're not classified, or if they are classified and need like modifications and accommodations aren't being met. You can contact like the counselor or whoever their case manager is, whether it's like an IP or 504. You can contact them and get the necessary accommodations and modifications for that child, because like GAD is such a broad spectrum that there's so many universal modifications, accommodations, so you really have to concentrate on the student and what, like Elena said, the trigger. It's really avoiding those triggers. That's like what it is. So that's it. Any questions?
Comments, questions?
I was just saying, I think that really pairs with ED.
Yeah,
I wrote that actually in my journal that it was with those triggers. Yeah.
They have to stop being stressed out and anxiety, and then they just have behavior.
Yeah, right. Control issues are big.
I was just gonna add, going from that actually, by telling Melissa you can pick who you're paired with, just giving her that control. That's she's beyond what's gonna happen in the class, but that now I have something that I can grab onto. I can control this a little bit. Okay, like it's an automatic. Definitely. De-escalation of the emotion. Yeah, it's like kind of catching it right away.
Never thought that word.
And I like the fact you interviewed someone about this.
Yeah, well, it's just
Sometimes
fortunate we
you
knew
really
someone,
need the
so.
inside, yeah, and you both had stories and students with whom you were familiar. So it's an important, it's really an important disorder.
Yeah, I feel like more kids suffer from anxiety. I mean, especially nowadays with like all the like the expectations for kids nowadays. It's like get a job, be successful, and it's like even harder now than ever. So.
And within the classroom, what's also helpful is using self-regulation, using mindfulness outside of the classroom, behavioral cognitive therapy. These are all things that help them to cope, because they have to develop coping mechanisms.